So quick tangent, I might place this before the video begins. This is recorded with my phone. So these two packages arrived yesterday from AliExpress. I had no time to actually do anything with them because I had to study for an exam, which was today, the 21st. Long story short, anyway, I've already shared what's inside these two packages on Discord. Because these are arcade buttons in the same dimension as a Bitmania controller. So basically this is supposed to be day one of Matteo tries to do a Bitmania controller from scratch. The most I managed was learn how to build a controller, but I still have to decide whether to... So, white one that I have built. There is no spring inside, if I can... There is no spring. Meanwhile, this blue one, it has one. Yeah, you can see it. And I'm testing whether I prefer personally no spring or with spring. I mean, this one with the spring is heavier, definitely heavier. So spamming like this with the index finger is not ideal. Like this is perfect to press with the thumb. I should actually test something now that I think about it. And they are definitely even lighter compared to these with no springs, just the bounce from the switch itself. They are even lighter, so just I don't know how much it goes through the camera, but this is very light. Meanwhile, this is a bit heavier. This is the heaviest. These are not original Sanwas, these are the ones which came through, I mean, the one included with the arcade button itself. So basically right now I have a box full of rectangular switches, and this second box, it's not, I'm tired. And anyway, in here there are the square ones. Might as well share another package that arrived a couple of days ago and I have not recorded, which is the brains of everything, Raspberry Pi Pico. And the only reason I took this instead of the other choice was Arduino Pro Mini, the one with the same chip as the Arduino Leonardo, is because I have a couple of friends which use this kind, the Raspberry Pi Pico. Plus, I've never tried this and I hope I don't burn it, essentially. So, end of day one, what is the plan? The next plan is to buy cables to connect to the switch, because at the moment I have the arcade buttons, I have the micro switch itself, but I have no way to connect this to the microcontroller, which I have already thrown into the other things. I guess this is it for day one. I realized something. It's now the 24th of November, so a couple of days after the last video I recorded, and I have not explained what are the goals with this project. I've just shown about the arcade buttons that just arrived, but I've not talked about the goals, and that's kind of important. Anyway, the most important goal for this is to be modular as possible. So essentially this project is divided into two modules. The main one, which will contain the arcade buttons, these ones, and the second one, which will include just the turntable. So the turntable won't be the same size as the arcade because I just don't have enough space on the desk to do this. So it will be a smaller size. The keypad, the buttons will be, and I want them to be with accurate arcade dimensions. Second goal of this project is to also, okay, so this is basically the reason why I'm doing everything on this. I don't want to be an expensive controller. The entire purpose of this is to not create Phoenix One, which is mega fancy with acrylic stuff, decals, shits and giggles. No, the main idea is to make an affordable controller. So like at max 100 euros. These are the main goals. Then as a bonus, have it work without a turntable, so for games like Easy to One or DJ Max, where turntables are not useful, the main module can just be plugged in directly to the PC and can be used standalone. Main point that I still have not talked about, this is a wired controller, not wireless, and I want them to be wired to have at least attempt to have as less input delay as possible. The idea is to also 3D print as many parts as possible, and so the controller is mainly 3D printed stuff and electronics. No fancy materials like glass or acrylic, which I do not have the tools to cut, to design. Right now, at the moment, I only have a 3D printer and I will to do this project, so main point number I lost count to 3D print as much stuff as possible. I'm back. It is currently the 19th of December 2024. I think the last video vlog I made about this was a month ago, basically, more or less. Life happened. Just university sucking everything. I did the smallest progress ever, and actually connecting the Raspberry Pi as a controller. I'm making this video for a couple of reasons. The first one is, right now, this works, as in I record something later and then put it in post. This shows up as a gamepad, and the button actually buttons, because I'm using a project called GP 2040 Community Edition, which more or less does everything. it shows up as a pocket controller. I have no idea why, but it shows up as a USB gamepad. That's the most important part, and it actually works. I have a couple of things. The first one is I'm not sure if I can use this library, this project, this GP2040 Community Edition, because of rotary encoders. They have to be treated in a specific way in order to be recognized by Vitoraja, Lunatic Rave, I think also Infinitas, because since they have continuous movement, the value that is reported, from what I gathered from the post 2, is mapped circularly. So if you move into a direction, essentially it is a value from 0 to 1, and when you go over, it wraps up. So it's circularly mapped. I had no time to actually test this with GP24. This project has been like this for basically a week after I did the last video. Good job, Matteo. Anyway, I have no idea if GP2040 supports rotary encoders in a way which is supported by Vitoraja. And since the project is aimed to make standard controllers like this kind of yes, it's a Wii Pro controller, deal with it. This kind of controller, so face buttons, two sticks, and triggers. I don't know if it has support for rotary encoder. If I discover that it doesn't, I have to rewrite everything. I have to either find another library which supports it, or the worst case scenario is I have to rewrite everything by hand, figure out how they did it for GP2040, and modify it so it actually supports rotary encoders. And I worry very much that I will have to do that.